Hi, it's Tara with coming back with like a really nice cheapie. This is Moschino Funny, and yeah, so Moschino I think has some of my like more like favored perfumes for like way back in the time. I think they kind of faded away in the recent like 10 or 15 years, but I still like their stuff. And this is something that I found recently that it's just perfect for the upcoming summer and for spring. And this is a real bargain scent. It's going for like 20 bucks now, 20 something dollars. And the weird thing is, when I bought it like 7 or 8 years ago, or maybe even 10 years ago, I still bought it like for $20. It was that cheap. So the price hasn't risen much, if at all. And I think it's just because like oversaturation. Another thing is Moschino is not trendy, as far as I know. But this is one of the most like refined like sort of sparkling citrus like perfumes. It's kind of slightly musky, slightly powdery at the end because of it has violets. So this is really when you first spray it, it has like a really sparkling fruity note with a bitter orange, red currant, and pink pepper. Don't worry, it's not spicy. It's very well blended into like a sparkling, crisp, but not too crisp as to be like metallic or men's cologne like. And then there's a green tea, peony, jasmine, and violet in the middle. So it retains a softness to it when it dries down, and it dries down really clean. Even though it has cedar, musk, oak moss, and amber, I really don't feel like I don't really feel that like the assertive notes really, you know, bursting out. It remains very calm and sort of soft and gentle and clean. So I think it's just there to, and it doesn't have any sweetness to it. But it's not like super bitter or anything like that. I consider it very, very well balanced. It has like, it's on the lower, it kind of fades away in terms of it loses some of the sparkly citrusness, which is, of course, as the case with most everything that does that. But it becomes like a skin musk that is very clean, and I think it's quite elegant. I wouldn't say it's the height of sophistication. It's been like compared to Light Blue by Dolce& and Gabbana, but like it doesn't have that tart green apple note, and it also doesn't feel as thin as that. Light Blue sometimes has like a thin, like sharp synthetic, like chemically smell to it in the background when it transitions. Uh, but this one doesn't. It's like more seamless and also less harsh. It's quite nice and it's also really cheap. So if you want like a cologne to wear during the summer when it's really hot and you can't bear like sticky or heady notes, then you might want to give this a try. Um, as always, I don't, encourage blind buying. I mean, I blind buy all the time. But I don't encourage other people to blind buy because I don't want them to associate me with like if they don't like it. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, it's still not my responsibility. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is I really like this, and I'm really glad I found it. And it's kind of like a goofy, like looking bottle. I just have to say that Moschino did not take themselves seriously. And this thing came out like, I think like 13 years ago. No, 16 years ago. No, wait, we're in 2024. 17 years ago. Yes. 17 years ago this came out. And they're already, back then perfume was, I think, or just anything in general was more on the serious side. So I really appreciate their little goofy humor. I mean, the heart kind of looks like a butt, but anyways, or a peach or something like that. But yeah, it's I appreciate their attempt at humor. And also I really like the bottle. It's like a really cool, like cooling, uh gradated light blue bottle, kind of like an aquamarine in terms of like jewelry. Oh, and check out my ring. This ring is, of course, I mean, it's not a real ring. This is like a fake sapphire ring that I got off Italo Jewelers. And I was just trying it out to see if I would like, you know, a sapphire ring. And I think I picked the wrong, shape, because this is like a squarish shape, and it like does not, it makes my fingers look kind of like sausage-like and short. I would prefer a more elongated shape, like maybe a rectangle ring would probably be better. But anyways, I'm doing this just to see if I would like, you know, a sapphire ring or not. You know, it's best to try things out with like try out like shapes and with like cheaper jewelry if you can't try things out, and I can't. So yeah. So anyways, this is Italian jewelry. And then this one is also the same company. And this one I like quite a lot better, just because I think the lighter pink color looks more stunning on my, and also the shape, the tear shape is more flattering. However, I don't like the eternity ring. It looks like the eternity portion looks too like chunky, that I'm glad that I rescued from the closet and I'm gonna take out and wear. So one of them is also Vera Wang Princess. Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I understand. It's like, I can hear people groaning in the background, but hear me out. So Vera Wang was at one time one of the most like best-selling like perfumes, specifically targeting the teen market. And it's also a gourmand, but it's like a tolerable gourmand to me. So what I like about Vera Wang is, first of all, it's like super cheap. And back then when I bought it, it was like 20 bucks or something. Second of all, it's not actually as terrible as I mean, it's not as unsophisticated as people think. There's like a goodly amount of like like feminine like florals that doesn't make, it's not like terribly heavy-handed. And now let me look up the notes. Okay, so this is a really good chocolate one. So it comes out with like water lily, apricot, apple, mandarin orange. So it doesn't start off like heavy. It has like a nice like little balance of florals and fruit. And the fruit isn't like really obnoxious or loud. So apricot, lily, water lily, mandarin orange, they're like on the more, it's like kind of a more refreshing, but not super, super syrupy or sweet. Like if it was a red berry, I would probably not like it, but those are good. And then the middle notes are dark chocolate, guava, tiare flower, and tuberose. So, and then the base notes are vanilla, amber, and woodsy notes. So to me, this smells like a very airy milk chocolate. That's what it smells like to me, but it's not super cloying. And it has this, because the chocolate is like kind of like a dark chocolate, so it doesn't come off as like very super desserty. It's like more on the airy side, and it also has like a warm vanilla and woodsy notes and amber, but there's also enough florals with the tiare flower and the tuberose, that the guava also, and the chocolate, it's like a very interesting accords in here. So for a juvenile like type of perfume and gourmand, I find it actually not bad. I actually quite like it. And for 20 something dollars, I don't think that that it's like I think it's like good money, for a good value for the money actually. And because for me, I feel like if I have to have a gourmand, and I don't generally love gourmands, that I would prefer it to be in this vein, in sort of like a, more airy and, mixed with florals type, like, thing, instead of just being, like, a straight up, like, cake. I don't really like cake or bakery ones, except for this one called, Lait de Biscuit, by Chabot, which smells just like baked biscuits. I like that one specifically because it has like a slightly crispy, uh, burnt, not burnt, but like a really browned, dry, biscuity scent to it that I enjoy. And it's kind of like savory, sweet, not full on sweet. So anyway, nobody mentions that at all ever. But anyways, this is Vera Wong's Princess, which is gonna hit my it's gonna make it onto my perfume tray for March. Another one that it's kind of like in the same vein as that other one, which I was surprised at, but this is actually a little bit on the occlusive, like heavy side. And this is M by Mariah Carey. And the reason why I actually hated this the first time I bought it, and I sold it or got rid of, no, I actually didn't sell it. I got rid of it by just giving it to Goodwill. And the weird thing is, after a while, I was kind of missing it and I brought it back. So this one is kind of like, it's not as airy and delicate and feminine as the as that other one, the Vera Wong one. This is more like a dense, kind of slightly weird. To me, it's like a mishmash of like sweet and like intense notes. You know what I mean? Like, so basically, it's like a marshmallow slash floral slash incense with patchouli and amber. So it's kind of crazy. It's all like smushed together. I'm not even really sure like what the point of this perfume is, but however, I can't. I was so intrigued by it that I had to go and buy it back. Granted, it's cost like nothing. It costs like hardly anything, but it's one of these perfumes where I can't figure it out, and I wanted more time with it, even though I didn't like it. It's not like I'm trying to force myself to like it, but I'm trying to understand it. Obviously, when Mariah Carey put this out, this was like a while ago, but she was already like a grown woman, and it came out in 2017. I mean, 2007, duh. And so the top notes are marshmallow and seawater. So that's what, I mean, that totally kind of like already is kind of discordant seeming, because seawater is just kind of like marine and oceany and savory and watery, of course, but you have marshmallow with it. It just kind of like, who thought of this? You know what I mean? So then the middle notes are tiare, flower, and gardenia. So I think they were trying to, I mean, that kind of sums up like maybe trying to be tropical, yellow floral, white floral. But then you have this crazy incense base, and incense, amber, and patchouli. So, that kind of like threw me for a loop. You're going for sweet. It's also like kind of tropical seeming, and then it becomes like a serious, like dense incense. Like, it's pretty dense. I have to say, it's kind of weird. And I think that also like kind of makes it more mysterious. So although can't say I like this, I can't even say I recommend it, but it's one of these perfumes that I've been hanging on to just because I've been trying to figure it out. So yeah. I'm trying to separate the different layers to see if I can get some resolution to this. I mean, it's not that serious, but it's like something that I'm trying to dig into. And this thing is like costs like $20 or less. It might be discontinued, but it's like a cheapie. And like I said, I can't really recommend it, but I'm glad to have it back because I really want to dig into it. It's for fun. Yeah, it's not serious. Another thing that I'm super, super happy to get back, I mean, that I'm ready to start wearing right now is the Manifesto at Les Clottes. So Manifesto is the regular one is actually like a really popular was a really popular one. I don't know if it's popular anymore. I never hear anybody talk about it, and I think it might be slightly hard to find. Although when I was in Paris like 2 years ago, I saw it on the shelf of the perfume store. So there's probably like lots of these around. But this is the Les Clottes. So the original one is like a syrupy or a greenish herbal. It smells like to me like black currant vanilla. And yeah, it's like kind of like black currant and vanilla, uh, sort of like more sophisticated and mature scent. Um, but yeah, it was to me, it was like very, it kind of stood out. You know what I mean? Um, and I really like it. It's one of my favorites. But this one is the Les Clottes, which is the less syrupy version. It's actually quite it actually has like a it went I feel like it doesn't really even match the original one as much. It's just like a what do you call it? It's just like more what it's not just like a watered down version of the original. Um, it's kind of well, let me show you. It's more it's less syrupy, yes, and it has like tonka beans and a lot of freesia and neroli and green tea. So, yeah, but it's darkened up a lot. So this one is kind of like a green tea, black currant buds. It's like a more green and fresh version of the other one. So this still has vanilla, tonka bean, cashmere wood, and sandalwood on the background. So I wouldn't say it's like completely light, but it doesn't have the really syrupy notes of the original one. And this one, let me see what people are selling this for. Hmm, hmm. Yeah, this one is, I don't even really see much of it online. Oh, there's like 53 bottles of this on eBay. Let me check. Yeah, it's like selling for 80 bucks or something. Yeah, it's not bad. But anyways, this is like the more uh, easy breezy tea scent, black currant tea scent with like a nice like rounded vanilla background. And by vanilla, I don't really mean like cake vanilla. This is like the type of vanilla that is more like commercial vanilla. The weird thing is, I feel like a lot of the commercial mass-produced houses actually, the way they incorporate the vanilla, it's actually more well blended with the other notes than the niche houses. Niche houses usually like give you vanilla that is specifically vanilla, like you can really smell it. So I don't know why that's the case. For a long time, I actually think that like the commercial people actually had more better blending. They have usually had a lot more notes, and they usually blended things better. I think that was just because that's how they used to do things from the beginning, that there was the mass houses would always do it in that way. And maybe the niche houses, they I find that they use less notes actually, and then the notes like vanilla are always much more apparent and less well blended in with the other notes than the mass-produced houses. That may not be the case anymore. Let me know if you think that's the case. But anyways, this is Manifesto Les Clottes. I'm going to enjoy it. Another one is this. This is the Chloe. And the weird thing is Absolute de Parfum. And the weird thing is I've been thinking about getting like a bottle of Chloe because I didn't, I didn't even remember I had this I didn't remember owning this. See, that's when you have a lot of stuff like put away, you just forget that you own stuff. And I was going to actually buy a bottle of this. Not necessarily the Absolute, but the ordinary one. I mean, the OG one. Let me see how this smells. So this is like a concentrated, less sparkly Chloe. Let me see. But it still like screams like springtime to me. So I'm glad to be able to use this right now. So this one is the one with this ribbon is kind of like slightly metallic. Cool. Cool. Now I don't have to buy it. This is always good. Okay, so let's see what else. Oh, here's another one that I thought I was going to have to shell out for, but it turns out that I had it all along. So I didn't even I have the Calvin Klein Regular Beauty that's yellow, or in the cream. And this one is the sheer. And the reason why I bought this in the first place was because I smelled it on my cousin, and it smelled. And I asked her what she was wearing, and she said Calvin Klein Beauty. And I bought Beauty, and I didn't smell the same thing. And then it turns out that it was probably this one, Sheer. What I have to say about this is this is kind of smells like... oh, wait, hold on. This is the Sheer Essence. I may have brought the wrong one. Okay, well, that makes sense. So anyways, this is supposed to be, I smelled like an icy, really feminine, like white floral, and when she was wearing it, and it was like really addicting. And I may have bought the wrong one, so I might have to buy the regular Beauty Sheer. And this is actually Sheer Beauty Essence. But this has Pear Blossom, White Peach, and it has lilac. You know how I was like going crazy about the lilac last time. So I'm hoping this has like a strong lilac note. I can't remember what it smelled like because I only used it once, and I think I put it away. Because it didn't smell like exactly like how she smelled, and I was chasing for that scent. So it has lilacs, Turkish rose, peony, and magnolia. It has musk, cedar, and vanilla at the background. Let me smell. Oopsie. So it's kind of alcohol-y smelling, of course, when it first comes out. But I mean, all of them are. But this one more than usual. Okay. So it's like a very simple. It's a very simple, like nice, fruity floral. It's not anything special. I think I will have to get the Sheer Beauty instead, because I really want to capture that one particular note. Let me see. What does this one have? Okay, so the Pure Beauty, the Sheer Beauty, regular Sheer Beauty, has Bellini, bergamot, red berries, peony, jasmine, pink lily. I don't know. That doesn't sound like what she was wearing either. Could she have been fooling me, or maybe she's senile and didn't tell me the right one? It's possible that she's gatekeeping. I don't know. I never would have suspected her of that. That's kind of mean, actually, knowing how much I like perfume. Sometimes people don't want to tell people what they're wearing because it's their signature. I mean, I kind of get that, but still, we're cousins, are we not? But anyways, here's something I am really happy to have. And this is the Bulgari. You all know I'm crazy about Bulgari. And these past years, whenever I see any Bulgaris from this like old packaging, I just snap it up. And this one is the Bulgari Jasmine Noir. This one is very nice and ladylike, and I think this Jasmine Noir might have like a nougat note in it. Let me check. This is the Jasmine Noir Eau de Toilette. Oh, okay. So this one is... it's got gardenia, which is good. I like the way that Bulgari does gardenia because it doesn't get too heady. It just like has a delicate, like refined beauty. It's got gardenia, lotus, green notes, and that's what I love about it. I like green notes. It has jasmine, sambac, and it has orange flower, but also has almond, white musk, pressure woods, tonka bean, and licorice. So that's why I like this. It has a slight almondy note, but it's never like marzipan or anything too sweet. I specifically like it because I like the gardenia interacting with green notes in here. So I'm very happy to get this because when I bought this, it was like peanuts. It was like maybe 50, 60 bucks. Now it's like $100 something. So I'm glad to have it. Let me hit you with like maybe like a harder hitting one. So this is Mousse de Cartier by Cartier, and this is the original one, Eau de Parfum. What I like about this is, so this is from 1980. Oh my gosh, look at how dark it's turned. This is like those like crazy ambers and musks from the 80s. It's like almost like virulent. It's invictus. This is like such a beautiful burnt sienna color. It's almost like radioactive or neon orange, neon burnt orange. So this is like a very, very interesting one. I was surprised when I got this because I thought it would just be like the really suffocating, like powdery musk, like super strong. But this is like one of the most classiest and rich musks that I've ever smelled. And it's also not super, surprisingly, it's not super smothering. It has like about like 25 notes or something. One of the most prominent are like galbanum. So I don't know if any perfume that is from the early 1980s did not have galbanum or carnation, which this one has, and leather. But what I really like, and aldehydes. So basically, it has everything from the 80s to make it like a super 80s perfume. But it also has like interesting stuff like Brazilian rosewood. And the rosewood is a note that I smelled like just, I really was obsessed with like maybe like 2 years ago where I smelled a rosewood note and like my body cannot stop obsessing about it. And this has a strong this has a Brazilian rosewood note, which I think Brazilian is like something nostalgic for me because I remember my great aunt, she had a set of Chinese like carved rosewood furniture that was like antique. And I remembered like when they used to play mahjong at her house and I would hang out there as a kid and play with her son, that I remembered smelling this and it gives like a really strong sense of nostalgia to me. You know what I mean? It gives me a great comfort. So I'm always trying to like, trying to capture that. It does get kind of smothering, slightly smothering, not as smothering as I thought with the aldehydes, but I think this is actually pretty well done. And the reason why I'm bringing this out in spring and summer is that I know I always talk about not liking super smothering scents in the summer or spring, but once in a while, I like to try out like scents like this to see how they react during the summer. Sometimes the heat kind of like makes the perfume rise in a way that is unexpected. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that I get all the layers from this perfume. A lot of times if you don't wear the perfume in the right season or in the right weather or your skin is not in the optimal condition or body heat or whatever, you only smell like half the notes. And then once in a while, when you accidentally get into the right condition, you can smell other notes. And I'm hoping to smell the Brazilian rosewood really well in this because, yeah, one of them that I have really good memories about is this. And this is like Quelque Fleur L'Original, the original Quelque Fleur. So Quelque Fleur is by Ubigant, and this is like a classic French house. And the reason why I have really strong memories for this, even though I don't wear this now, and I just bought this for nostalgia's sake, is because um, one of my earliest explorations into perfume was when I was like a teenager. And I had been getting perfumes like Shalimar, Beautiful, Paloma Casso, and Oscar de la Renta, and all these like kind of stuff from like a family friend. And whilst I really liked a lot of them and I had appreciation of them, they were kind of like I didn't choose them, you know what I mean? So I remember one day um, me and my friend were exploring this park in San Francisco called Golden Gate Park. And basically, we were going through the trees where there was, you know, nobody really hung out or anything. It was like off the beaten path because we wanted to look at these plants and stuff like that. And we saw like scattered on the ground, like some plastic baggies. Yeah, so back then we were not as cautious as we should be now. So we went and explored, and it turned out that it was like a Ziploc bag full of perfume samples and sprays. So basically, we kind of like just split them up or something like that. And one of the ones that I picked was a sample of this uh, Quelque Fleur. And I remembered when I put it on, it was like a really not hot, but it was very super sunny and dry, like San Francisco day. And I was wearing a white cotton sweater, a thick white cotton sweater. And this scent, like, it just gave off this beautiful, kind of honeyed, white floral, clean, soapy, slightly aldehydic scent to it. And I remember thinking that this was such a beautiful scent. And I think back then it kind of like led me to like soapy white musk scents like florals. It kind of steered me in that direction for a long time. And yeah, so this is one of my great scent memories from back in the day. Another scent memory was from that same batch was the Estee Lauder Spellbound. And I remember thinking like, wow, what a cool smoky, like kind of like mysterious, kind of syrupy, slightly green, bitter green amber. It was really nice. So I still have memories, good memories for the Spellbound. But the weirdest thing about the Spellbound is when I went recently, I smelled a sample of it, or I put it on whilst I was at the perfume counter, and it I don't know if the formula changed, but it smelled really syrupy and sweet and less bitter, smoky, and like kind of a galban. It had less galbanum or oak moss or something, and it smelled like totally different. So I'm kind of like devastated because I really wanted to recapture that early like scent memory, but I don't know. Maybe they reformulated it and it doesn't smell the same again. I kind of was tempted to get it, but you know, this it was so syrupy sweet that I kind of like recoiled from it. So, yeah, not every scent memory can be replicated. Yeah. Okay, we're almost through for this one, and one of them is this. Oh, let's just do this. Okay, so this is like the infamous like Jimmy Choo by Jimmy Choo, and I have two versions of this. This is like this is the larger one, but I had a smaller one, 1.5 or 1.7 mLs. And the weird thing is this smells like totally different from the small one. But I'm just using this as like a stand-in. So the thing about the small one is that was the first time that I was ever able to smell patchouli as separate from the actual, like, all the notes all mixed together. So, Jimmy Choo is like a dirty patchouli, like, really, um, like patchouli in all its, like, facets type of perfume. And I'm talking specifically about the smaller one that I had that I bought as a set. For some reason, this larger one doesn't have the same wow factor. But when I smelled the smaller one, it had, like, the patchouli was so green, it was really earthy, and it gave off, like, slightly camphoric or minty vibes and very herbal, and I was, like, really shocked because, like, I was like, "So this is what patchouli really smells like?" Um, yeah, it was so earthy that I could swear I was really shocked that, Jimmy Choo, a mass-produced thing could and very feminine, like, image would have that kinda crazy patchouli. And actually, after that, experience, I really liked patchouli. But it mixed patchouli with, like, kind of like a loud, obnoxious, like, fruity note. I think it's, like, oranges or mandarin and pear. That was, like, really kinda syrupy, and then it had this really beautiful golden toffee note, and I can smell on in the small one, I was able to smell all 3 of them, like, very separately, and, the toffee itself was also not to it wasn't like you can clearly distinguish between toffee and caramel. So caramel is very, like, gooey and ooey and liquid, but the toffee they had in this was, like, very dry. It was very golden, and it you can even feel that it would be kind of, like, brittle. Like, you can it wasn't, like, luscious, but it had, like, enough salt, you know what I mean? So it kinda reminded me of Score, a chocolate bar that I used to eat when I was a kid, that kind of golden hard toffee. So, I really like the small one, and I don't like this one 'cause I was so liking that, like, small one that I went out and bought this big one, and the weird thing is this smells like I can't smell the layers in this. This is, like, kind of like a watered down version of that other one, so I don't know, maybe that earlier that, that earlier one that I bought was part of a set, so it had some sort of, like, cream or something like that that, came with it, and it was, like, a smaller version of this. So, I don't know if maybe, like, they sold it or this is, like, an imitation that's kinda, like, watery and no good, but that one was very good, and I can't wait to find that smaller bottle. Okay, almost to the end. Another one that I got, that I found is this one, Roomba, and I don't even know why I bought this. This was I never actually smelled this when I was, like, younger, and also it's gone through, like, different hands. So, basically, this is the Ted Lapidus one and, not the original Roomba. So, the original Roomba was by Balenciaga, and, I think it was sold to Ted Lapidus, and I think Ted Lapidus, might be, buying up had bought up, like, these old formulas, and they're, like, trying to, like so that it won't be lost or something like that. I mean, there's still a market for this, but this thing was going for like 15 bucks or something like that, or 14 bucks back in the day. So it's like, and it's still like about that time, about that amount right now. And this one is actually by Jean-Claude Elena. And it comes as a big surprise to me because this is from 1989, because Jean-Claude Elena was known more for his, is known more for his, kind of transparent, like sheer, very sheer florals and kind of like airy perfumes. He did all the colognes and eau de parfum or eau de toilettes for like the Hermes for a long time for the sheer lines, and his stuff is known to be more like watercolors, resembling watercolors. But this is like the total. This might have been like earlier. This is like has 30 notes or something like that. It's got a variety of peach, plum, mirabelle plum, uh, raspberry in the beginning. It also has herbaceous notes, which is basil and bergamot, and it has the total, all the entire gamut of the 1980s, like stuff, including carnation, tuberose, gardenia, jasmine, magnolia. It has orchid, and it has lily of valley, heliotrope, and honey as the middle notes. So it's quite fruity, and it's fruitier than I realized. When I saw this, when I blind bought this, I thought it might, because I there's a lot of people singing its praises on FragranceNet, I believe. And when I bought it, I just bought it because it was like 14, 15 bucks, and it was intriguing. I did not realize that it was such a good perfume. I mean, it's a good 80s perfume, and the reason why is I think it's because it actually has quite a lot of fruit. But back then, the plum from the 80s is not the same as the plum from now. I think like a lot of the fruit now, it's like mixed with sweet and like other stuff, but there is a sweet note in here and rich note, and that's from the honey. But all the florals kind of like, I don't know, I don't feel like this is like a really harmonious blend. It also has leather, oak moss, and more plum in the base notes, but it also has ambergris, which has like a more crystalline, slightly salty marine thing to it. It has styrax, which is kind of like a little bit camphoric, a little bit of patchouli. It has tonka bean, vanilla, musk and sandalwood with leather and cedar. So everything in the kitchen sink this thing has. But I mean, you might think it's like going to be like a terrible mishmash. I actually think it smells really good. It's not as smothering. I mean, the honey is a little bit like thick, and the heliotrope is kind of powdery, but there's some slightly fresh aspects to this that makes it like slightly intriguing. So I know that this is not to everybody's taste. And the thing is that it's called rumba, which is kind of like a passionate, kind of sexy dance from Brazil. Very slow and sensuous. And I think it kind of captures it in its like rich, kind of slightly, I mean, it has it's like the aldehydic stuff from the 80s. And I think I like this a lot, actually. It's it's not out of control. I think it has, it's like fruity, but it has its like refinement. It's not as wild as you think. I quite like it. It's actually like the plum is really nice in this. So, I mean, take what I say with a grain of salt. I wouldn't recommend you rush out and get it. But if you like 1980s perfumes and this wasn't on your radar, you might try to give it a sniff. Yeah. Oh, wait, I have this other one. I got so excited when I saw this because I knew it was like a Mancera. And I thought it was like my crazy wild cherry, which I've been wanting to smell again. But it's actually this even crazier one called Wild Leather. And I don't know if this is still out, but This one is like very jungly and crazy. Let me see. And I'm just gonna enjoy like having it out to contrast with all the other stuff I have. So yeah, it's gonna contrast. I'll try this and try this, Chloe. Yeah, so this one is just smelling from this is gonna be super animalic. And I looked it up, and basically this is from 2014, and the nose for this is Pierre Montel. So the top notes are Sicilian bergamot, of which I smell nothing of the sort. The middle notes, oh, immediately. When you see patchouli as a middle note, you know this is going to be super animalic. It's called Bulgarian Rose. You know, I really don't smell the rose. I don't smell, and the weird thing is it has violet. Like, why? If you're going to have like a really animalic one, why would you even bother with the violet? It's like, it's going to just be run over by the other notes. It has leather, and the leather is just boom in your face. It has oak moss, guaiac wood, white musk, and amber. So yeah, this is really, really animalic. Yeah, I think that this will be maybe sprayed on a piece of paper or sprayed on a wrist or something like that. And then on a day when I just want to have some fun, and we'll just see how it goes. I'll report on this later. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great one, and I'll have another video on recent stuff that I bought. Yeah, so stay tuned. Have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye.